everyone, and welcome to another Lawn Fawn video. It's Kelly here, and I am so excited to be making a Fairy Friends shaker card with you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and stamp out a bunch of images from Fairy Friends, and I'm also going to actually stamp out some images from Gleeful Gardens. This is a set from last year that is a perfect match for the new Fairy Friends. So I'm going to stamp out the mushroom from that set, and then also the little steps for the house from Fairy Friends. Now it's time to add some color to these images. So I'm going to be using my Copic markers, which are my absolute favorite, and we're going in fast motion here since there's a lot to color for this card. I'm going to take my darkest marker there and add some shading right along those edges so that it looks like those back petals are really behind the front petal. And next, I'm going to be using my two favorite colors for the base of this house. It's this really great kind of pinky brown. I just love it. Now this card is inspired by a card by Elena Rousakis that I absolutely fell in love with. I love being inspired by my favorite card making idols, and Elena is definitely one of them. And I wrote her and I asked her if I could make a version of her card. So I am so excited to be making this card. Thank you so much, Elena, because I just love the way that she colored the flowers blue on the house. I had always just been coloring them pink. I love how she combined Gleeful Gardens with Fairy Friends, and her whole layout is just gorgeous. Now right now I'm using a white gel pen to make the white areas of these stamped images really pop. I just love doing this. And then now it's time to color some fairies. Now I love coloring the fairies like different friends or family that I know. So it's fun to get inspired by different people in your life and kind of have fun coloring their hair and their skin tone. I just love it. So next I'll be working on the fairy skin tone, and I love adding a little bit of extra shading underneath their bangs. And then, of course, I gotta add some rosy cheeks. These fairies definitely need rosy cheeks. I love RV10 for rosy cheeks too. Now this is my favorite way to color the wings. I lay down BG11 and then go over it and into the white area with BG70, and it gives it this gorgeous airy glow to the wings that I am just in love with. And now I'm going to color the fairies' dresses to match some purple flowers that are going to be on the card, and then the other fairy is going to get a pink dress that kind of matches the door of the house. Now it's time to use the coordinating dies. I'm just going to run it through my die cut machine, and then I just love this. I don't know about you guys if you love this too, but I love popping them out of the dies and seeing the perfectly cut image. I just have so much fun with that. Okay, so now it's time to start creating the card base. I'm using the largest of Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies, and I've die cut some white cardstock, and now I have the brand new butter ink. I love this. It's kind of this glowy, really light yellow. And so I'm going to take this with a foam ink blending tool, and I'm just going to bring this off and then onto the card. And I want to create this kind of glow to the sky. I don't want a plain white card, but I also didn't want blue in the background either. So I thought this nice little glow would seem really magical and very fairyish. And so I thought this butter color was just perfect. And now I've cut another piece with that same size rectangle, and I'm going to take freshly cut grass ink with some foam ink blending tool again and do this for the grass because I wanted the grass to really match the sky. So that's why I didn't use colored cardstock, because I wanted it to have that same ink blended look. So I'm just bringing on the ink just like before to create this nice bold green grass. And now I'm just going to clean off my craft mat with my stamp chamois. And now I can go ahead and stamp a few more images, and one is this flower from Chirpy Chirp Chirp. I just love this cute little flower, so I'm going to use that on the card too. Now I use the coordinating dies to cut these out also, and all of these pieces are now ready to go on my card. I'm using the new stitched rectangle frame, the largest one, to cut some mermaid cardstock to create a frame for the scene. And now it's time to start laying everything out onto the card. Now everything is where I think I would like it, so I'm taking the Have a Magical Day sentiment from Fairy Friends and I'm curving it onto the block. I kept messing around with it till it was the perfect curve, and I'm going to stamp it out in some black licorice ink. Now it's time to add some of those little stars from the set to just kind of fill in the background, and it's going to go along with all of those little shaker pieces that are going to be flying around later on too. Now, I have a tendency to always forget where I wanted to put everything on my card, so I take a picture of just about every card before I start to lay everything down. I'm using some tape runner to adhere everything down because I want everything to be flat against the card so that all of the shaker pieces will kind of fly in front of the whole scene. So I'm just going through and adding everything and making sure that it's adhered down really well. And once I've added all of my pieces, it's time for glitter. Every fairy card needs glitter. So I'm using a Wink of Stella clear pen to add to the stars and to the fairy's wings. Now it's time to start working on the frame for the card. So I have my largest of the stitch rectangle frames, and the largest of the small stitch rectangles fits right inside of that. So next I'm going to be taking the largest of the scalloped rectangles, and we're going to line these up. So I'm cutting some mermaid cardstock with the largest of the rectangle stackables, and you're going to see that now I'm going to use that largest of the small stitch rectangles, which is the same as the interior of that frame. I'm going to line that up right in the middle and cut an opening that you're going to see that's going to line up perfectly with this new stitched rectangle frame. So I've got that on there, and now that frame is going to line up with that opening, and it's going to look so cool. So I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of the frame and get that on there, just like that. Now this mermaid cardstock is gorgeous, but it wasn't really matching that ink blended look. So I'm going to take some Yeti ink, which is a white pigment ink, and a foam ink dauber and blend it onto my cardstock. So I'm going to blend it and then smear it with my finger. And then blend it on and smear it with my finger. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way around, just like this, and you'll see what a gorgeous airy look the cardstock now has. So the original cardstock's on the bottom and the white pigment ink covered is on the top. So it's such a cool way to get two looks out of your cardstock, the bold look and the airy look. Now I'm using that same large stitch rectangle to cut a piece of acetate that's going to be my window for this card. So you'll see that's going to line up right on top of that. I'm using some score tape on my scallop frame and just going to peel off all of that backing. It's a nice, strong, sticky adhesive, and I can lay my little window right on top. And you'll see I got it all crooked, but it doesn't matter because no one's ever going to see the back part of that, thank goodness. So now I've got a window perfect for my card. So here I've got this big old roll of foam adhesive. I am going to take this and I am going to fold a big long piece in half. So you'll see I'm kind of sticking the foam to each other, and now I've made it double thick. But I actually want it to be triple thick because I really want a lot of room for the sequins to move around. So I'm going to peel back that adhesive and just roll it over one more time to create triple thickness of this foam. So now I can just rip that piece right off, and then I'm going to cut that triple thick foam in half because I don't need such a wide piece. I really only need a 1/4 inch wide piece. So I'm going to cut that in half, and now I've got a bunch of little strips that are ready to put onto the back of my frame. Now I'm going to take these triple thick foam pieces and line those up right onto this rectangle window. So once we have those all lined up all the way around, it's going to create the reservoir for all of our shaker pieces to move around in. So now I've got a nice little rectangle wall going on. And now it's time to add the shaker bits. So I have some Lucy's Little Things in Fairy Lights, which are just so gorgeous. And then I'm also going to add some Martha Stewart Star Glitter in this beautiful aqua color and in white, just to add to the shakerness of it all. Now that I've got all of those in there, I want to make sure I remove any stickiness from the inside of this foam tape. So I'm using my powder tool that normally I use for heat embossing. I'm going to use that to get rid of any stickiness. So I'm really going in those crevices and making sure that there's no stickiness there so that those shaker pieces really do move around in this card. Now I've taken off the backing of that foam and laid it right on top of my image, and you can see the cool shaker card that has now been created. So I'm going to cut a standard size card here, so it's going to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'll fold that and crease that really well with my bone folder. And now I can add this to the back of my card. So now the entire shaker is the card, which I think is so cool. So I'll add that right on there, and now I've got a shaker that is also a card. I just love that scallop frame so much. It kind of reminds me of a shadow box kind of look. That's what I was hoping to go for. And I think it could be fun to do lots of other stamp scenes in the same style of shadow box shaker card. And I just love shaking that around. It's just so much fun. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!